don't know you anymore. Anakin, you're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. It's time for the DC Comics solicitations for February 2022. And we've got the numbers in. Lots of things going on at DC Comics. They have a very different model from Marvel as far as how they release things. A lot less number ones, but a lot more reliance on one specific character, that being Batman. But they are still learning some lessons from Marvel Comics. We are in the DC Comics all new, all different era. We essentially, we've got essentially almost the entire Justice League has been removed at this point and replaced, or they're in the middle of being replaced. But they're now getting into the Marvel Legacy phase of their all different transition. So let's get to the numbers, and then we'll talk about some of the Marvel Legacy stuff, and then we'll get into all the solicitation. Now, if this is going to take a little while, maybe 25, 30 minutes. So if you have a beverage, go get you crack a cold one, a lemonade, an iced tea, whatever it is that you want to drink, and let's have a little bit of fun together. So they are releasing 56 comics in February 2022, which is far less than what Marvel is releasing. 5 of those are number ones. Only 9% of those 56 comics are number ones, but 10 will star the Dark Knight himself, Batman, being 18%. 17 will be starring like a team book with Batman, part of the team, or a Batman associated character in a starring role for 30%. So a whopping 27 of 56 will either star Batman, feature Batman on a team, or star a Batman associated character like Dick Grayson, Harley Quinn, Joker. For a whopping 48% of all DC Comics in February 2022. If you like Batman, this is the greatest era of comic books in the history of the world. If you're not the biggest Batman fan, well, it's too bad. Now let's get into the Marvel Legacy phase of all new, all different DC Comics. We've got a couple of comics that are kind of presenting this idea. And if you don't remember what Marvel Legacy was, it's where they took the established character and they teamed him up with the new Legacy character that was replacing them. And in those stories, those little adventures, they proved without a shadow of a doubt that the replacement was so far superior than the original, it wasn't even funny. So they defined down the original character to build up the new character. Obviously, this idea never works. This ploy never works. But we will be getting 2 comics in February 2022 that are using this strategy. One of them being Aquamen, the other one being Nightwing 89, and that will transition into Superman Son of Kal-El in March. So Aquaman, we are having Arthur Curry, Jackson Hyde team up. Now we know Arthur Curry is going to retire. DC Comics has already told us this. He's giving up the mantle of Aquaman to Jackson Hyde so he can become a stay-at-home dad. I personally am not opposed to stay-at-home dads. I myself am. I retired at the tender age of 39 so I could be a stay-at-home dad and take care of my boys and spend lots and lots of time with them. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Obviously, I do have my YouTube channel here, which is basically a full-time job, but I am able to juggle it. And we get to spend lots of time together. So I think staying home with the kids is a great idea if you have the opportunity to do that. So I am not disparaging the stay-at-home dads out there. And if Arthur Curry is going to be the new superhero that represents us, I guess we could do worse. But you know what's going to happen. Arthur Curry is going to be presented as a kind of a bumbling idiot. He's going to fail, and it's going to be Jackson Hyde that's going to have to pick up the pieces and save the day because Arthur was not able to get the job done. And there will be at least 3 moments in this story, because it is a miniseries written by the same people that did Black Manta and Aquaman the Becoming, where Arthur Curry lets Jackson Hyde know that he's a better Aquaman than he ever was. And it's a good thing that he's given up the mantle to a real superhero. And we'll probably have Jackson Hyde chastise Arthur Curry at least 2 times for being set in his old archaic ways and that he needs to get a new way of thinking. We're going to see something very similar in Nightwing 89, one of the most beloved characters in the DC Comics universe. In my opinion, the most relatable character in the DC Comics universe, Dick Grayson, will let you know that John Kent is better than his father. We've actually already had this a little bit. We certainly heard it from Batman. We've heard it from Clark Kent, and we have heard it a little bit from Dick Grayson. But Tom Taylor is writing both Nightwing and Superman Son of Kal, which this is going to be a crossover 2-story event in which the two go on an adventure together. The adventure will be secondary to Dick Grayson letting you and I, the readers that like Dick Grayson as a character, know that John Kent is a better Superman than his father. He's doing it better. He has a better mission, and he will be the bestest superhero in the history of DC Comics. And these stories will fall hollow. They will not work because it never works by defining down the established character in the hopes of defining up the new upstart holder of the mantle. We are in the DC legacy phase of this weird transition where they're following in the footsteps of Marvel Comics. If you want to hear how good John Kent is, this is going to be the story for you. If you want to hear how great Jackson Hyde is and what a terrible person Arthur Curry is, Aquaman is going to be the comic book for you. Now, these are not predictions. These are spoilers. I see these things in the future. I have read enough modern comic books to know exactly how this is going to go. All right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about these DC Comics solicitations. Get in, see a few covers, and see if we can glean anything of interest within these comic books. And, of course, I will have my lock of the week, or lock of the month, actually. The lock of the month, the one comic book I can guarantee you is going to be worth your damn money. And we are starting out with Batman 120. It appears Batman is going to a monthly title. We had heard this when James Tynion first took over, but the sales bounced back enough that Batman stayed bi-weekly or bi-monthly. Bi-weekly? I think it's bi-weekly. But now it's going to a weekly book, at least initially under this Joshua Williamson Molina series. This might also be to give the new Batman writing team time to get some stuff in the can and get some plans. And we've heard Jorge Jimenez say that he's going to stay on Batman. So I imagine he's going to be the artist following whatever this story arc with Batman Incorporated under Joshua Williamson. You can see there is, I don't remember the name of that new villain. We haven't seen him yet. I'm sure it'll be in here. Abyss, $5 with a backup story by Carl Kirsch. The new Batman Inc.'s heinous crimes have landed them in a high security prison. Batman believes the only way to help his old allies is to break them out, but they don't want his help. It sounds like quite the conundrum. We've got Detective Comics 1051. So if you were upset that there isn't, 2 Batman issues, they got you covered. You're going to get 4 Detective Comic issues. And they all have fantastic covers by Lee Bermejo. One of my favorite comic artists. Definitely a great cover artist. And this is Mariko Tamaki, Max Raider, Psycho Pirate. The mind manipulation of one of DC's most calamitous villains are revealed at the heart of Arkham Tower, but who's really calling the shots? That's the big thing. So this is the Shadows of the Bat weekly event with a backup story for Matthew Rosenberg. God, Matthew Borzenberg. Great. Detective Comics 1052. Look at these covers. If you are a Lee Bermejo fan, you're probably going to have to get these because they just look fantastic. Wait till you see the one with Batman and Robin. It looks good. His hold is breaking. That's the message written in blood across the minds of Arkham Tower's inhabitants after a nightmare melee is unleashed. Can Nightwing get to the bottom of this mystery before the people of Arkham Tower are put in peril again? I don't know. Is Batman even? I mean, he has to be in the event because you're seeing him on the cover. But I thought he wasn't in Gotham. DC Comics is so messed up with their continuity. Detective 1053, War on the Streets, another $5 comic book. And there's the best cover, I guess. If you like Lee Bermejo, look at that Batman and Robin. That is good. Look at those boots on Robin. I like that. Nightwing versus Psycho Pirate, the grand finale of Shadows of the Bat, Act 2 of 3. So it's not really the grand finale, is it? I Am Batman number 6. Ken Lashley now. I thought Steven Segovia was going to be the artist. Okay. John Ridley and Ken Lashley. Why do they keep... That's how you know DC Comics do not think I Am Batman is an important series because they keep switching artists. Man, why don't they just stick with Olivier Coipel or Steven Segovia? They both look fantastic. Not that I'm saying the book's all that great, but this has been one of the most uneven books that I've read. But it's only $4, so they're saving you money. Jace Fox's baptism by fire as Batman. during Fear State was the first step towards the next great challenge, a relocation to the Big Apple, joining his mother and sisters in the move as they arrive to the city. Jace will find new adventure, rekindle love, and terrify new adversaries as Empire State of Mind begins. Empire State of Mind, isn't that a Jay-Z song? Whatever. I think it's smart. I do. If they want to get Jace Fox over as a Batman-like character, to move him to New York and give him his own city, they should just stop calling him Batman. They should probably call him Batwing. You know, it's associated with the family. That would probably be more effective than what they're doing. The new champion of Shazam is Mary Marvel, Josie Campbell from the She-Ra series on Netflix. Eva Doc Shader. That's all you need to know. I've talked about this one. Going to be a dumpster fire. Aquaman #1. Obviously, I just talked about this. Monkey Prince #1. This is one of the weirdest things that I'm seeing in comic books, is that you're not supposed to do stereotypes, right? But all they're doing is stereotypical characters. The Monkey Prince, an Asian character. Of course, Gene Yang's writing it because there's only 4 comic writers that can write Asian themed characters within comic books nowadays. Not that Gene Yang's a good writer. Maybe you'll get to do something good with Monkey Prince. Introducing the newest hero, the great sage, equal to the heavens, better than his predecessor, the legendary Monkey King. Of course, he's better than the predecessor. Even better than the Justice League. And definitely the Teen Titans. So they're mocking some stuff. Marcus' son moves around a lot because his adoptive parents are freelance henchmen. So this month he finds himself as the new kid at Gotham City High School, where a mysterious man with pig features asks Marcus to walk through a water curtain to reveal himself as who Marcus really is, someone who has adventurous new journey to the west, can transform into 72 different formations, can clone himself using hairs, and is called the Monkey Prince. I don't know that solicitation sells people on comic books. That sounds really confusing. Don't know that I'm going to check that one out. Suicide Squad Blaze #1. This sounds interesting. Cy Spurrier is hit or miss for me, personally. $7 for a 48-page comic is quite the street price. This is Black Label Prestige Plus format, so it's the magazine size, cardstock cover. So this is a higher quality comic book. But this opening part, it has me confused. The attacks begin without warning, brutal, sudden, cannibalistic. A metahuman with all the power of Superman, but none of his humanity. So it is a Kryptonian, or is this an evil Superman? And then there's something called the Blaze, where these new members of the team, they get a superpower for 6 months, but then once they lose it, they die. I guess it's an interesting hook. It's something different. I'll give them that. Weird Love Tales. I never read any of these. These are all terrible. So I won't be reading their Valentine's Day comic. And now we are into Superman Action Comics 1040. Got a nice old school feel on this comic, which I imagine is that Julian Totino Tedesco? Oh. It says Daniel Sampere is the cover artist, but that doesn't look like Daniel Sampere to me. But this is Philip Kennedy Johnson and Sean Aldridge with Ricardo Federici and Adriana Mello. I imagine that means there's a backup story. $5. Superman has to become a force to reckon with inside World War Zarita, so he's a good gladiator. Mongol questions his decision to keep his enemy alive. I don't know. I'm still reading this. It kind of calmed down for me. We'll see if Action Comics kind of can pick up the pace. I have not read the last issue, which I heard was really, really good. So maybe that's the one I need to read to get back into this series. Aquaman, the Becoming. Final issue leading directly into Aquaman. So read this before you read Aquaman, apparently. Aquaman, Green Arrow, Deep Target. Bang, zoom to the moon. And it says something about dragons. So there's going to be... That doesn't look like a dinosaur. It looks like a dragon to me. I don't know. Maybe it's good. Chuck Brown and Brandon Thomas, once again, they are the team that's working on Aquaman. Arkham City, Order of the World #5. This has been a really good series, like a shockingly good series. I think this cover is awful. Maybe it would be a good cover like for a book or a magazine, but I don't think it works as a comic book cover. That's just me. But this series has been way better than I anticipated. And I think it's definitely worth your time if you're looking for some type of like a darker noir type stuff. And you don't mind a Gotham City without Batman, because he's certainly hinted at, but he's not really there. But this Dr. Joy, she's crazy in this. The 10-Eyed Man is absolutely frightening. Batgirls #3, included in Godrat. What a waste of Jorge Corona. He should be on a good book. with the good writers. Batman versus Bigby, A Wolf in Gotham. Drew loves this series. I hadn't really reading it. I perused the first 2 issues. I tried to read issue 3, and it just did not capture me. But I've heard a lot of people like this Bill Willingham series. I'm hoping we still get Fable. And this is going to be the final issue, 6 of 6. Batman the Night #2. Here's a series I'm absolutely going to read, but I don't think it's necessary. This is Chip Zdarsky, Carmine Giandomenico. I said that wrong. $5. Bruce Wayne's journey towards becoming the Dark Knight has begun. The story's been told enough. And it's, I imagine it's going to be good. Chip Zdarsky is one of my favorite writers, so he's going to do a good job. But I wish they'd give him something new to do. Like, tell something that we don't know about Batman. Tell us a story, or put him in a position that we haven't really seen him before, because we've all seen him become the Dark Knight. That's all I'm saying on that one. But I am a customer, even at the $5 price, because Chip Zdarsky is a really good writer. Batman Urban Legends #12. This thing is just a train wreck. And this is going to be worse than most, because you got Vita Ayala, Mark Russell. That's all you need to know. Batman Catwoman #10. The moment I realized that what this book was about was Selina deciding who she wanted to marry, Bruce or Joker, I was shocked. I'm still shocked that that's the story that Tom King's telling. It makes no sense, not just within DC Comics continuity or the DC universe, but within Tom King's own Batman story. This story here makes no fucking sense. And I thought it was supposed to be about Phantasm, but that's just an add-on to get people to read the book or to buy the book. At least there's some decent cleavage here. You know what I'm saying? The girls look healthy. And that's always nice. Tom King, Clayman, dope mess with the Catwoman. Tom King makes Selina Kyle like, there's a lot of character deconstruction going on that character in this series. And this is issue 10. This is normally when the coup de grace happens, is either 10 or 11 in a Tom King miniseries, a 12 issue. It's either like 10 or 11, the second to last, or the next to last issue, where he really does a number on the character, makes them terrible. This will probably be it. Black Manta #6. Okay, this is the last part of a miniseries as well. A lot of miniseries in this month. Final issue leading into Aquaman #1. So you've got to read this before you read Aquaman as well. Black Manta fights to stop Devil Ray, who sets his eyes on Atlantis. I'm going to be honest. I'm not seeing a whole lot worth reading here yet, other than Chip Zdarsky's A Night. Maybe that was my lock of the month. I think I wrote it down. Blue and Gold. Dan Jurgens, Ryan Sook. A lot of people are enjoying this series. There just isn't a lot of DC stuff to read right now. Nothing feels important. It's like, why should I invest in this book? I don't think they really spelled that out. Catwoman 40. This is tremendous art. Like, you know, it's a good piece of art. But as a comic book cover, what does it tell you? Apparently she's going to be crying, maybe, and at a cemetery, maybe. Other than that, who knows? Tini Howard, Nico Leone. This is just a tragedy that they would take Ram V off a book like this, unless they have bigger and better things. I'm really praying. Well, not praying. It's not that important, but I am hoping that Ram V ends up being the new Batman writer. If I told you that there's a whole retro glam apartment building in Gotham called the Trixie that houses mob wives, sidekicks, and mistresses, and Catwoman is secretly taking a whole floor to herself, eavesdropping on their wives, would you believe me? Not really, and I wouldn't want to read the story, so I'm already checked out of that one. Dark Knights of Steel #4. I do not like Tom Taylor, but that first issue it kind of hooked me. I love fantasy stories. Obviously, I love the DC Comics universe. DC is my favorite universe between DC and Marvel. Valiant's technically my favorite universe, but that thing is real bad right now. So you throw my DC characters into a fantasy setting like this, and you know, I don't want to support Tom Taylor, but there's only so many good DC books out there. And I do the This Week in Batman stuff, so I'll be reading it. It's good. Art by Ben Gall. Why are they changing artist? And that's a mistake. The arrival of the elves by spaceship 19 years was a pivotal moment for the kingdom, and a prophecy was born. But what were those early years like for the elves, and how did they come to be the monarchs of the kingdom, and what catastrophic event triggered everything that was to follow? Okay, so this is going to be some type of flashback episode. Maybe that's why they have a new artist, as they kind of tell how the elves came into power. I imagine it's because they're Kryptonians and they can burn things with their eyeballs, but maybe it's more complicated like that than that. DC Horror presents Soul Plumber. I've had a couple people tell me this book's good, but with a name like Soul Plumber, I can't take it seriously. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. DC versus Vampires. Here we've got what appears to be an evil Kyle Rayner going after Batman, who's looking to stake him in the heart. The future of the world is at stake as a battle to the death ensues between Batman and Hal Jordan. Oh, that was Hal Jordan? Why does he have black hair? Doesn't look like Hal Jordan to me. Will the vampire Green Lantern be too much for the Dark Knight? He should be. Will the future of humanity be in the hands of Jada, Vampire Slayer? I'm not invested in this. I don't think I'm going to be reading it. This is an interesting cover because obviously we have Slade Wilson as Conan the Barbarian. I'm an enormous Conan the Barbarian fan. If you haven't been reading the Sumerian series from Ablaze, you're absolutely out of your mind. It's a cool cover. If I saw this in a comic book, I would pick it, or a comic book shop, I would pick it up immediately. And that's important. The reign of King Deathstroke begins after the shocking truth about trust is revealed. So, okay, they figured him out in 5 issues. Deathstroke finds himself the leader of a new army. But does he use that army for good or evil? Yep, that's the series is about. I'm going to say that this cover is metaphorical of him like becoming the king. Just based on the other two. Future State Gotham number 10 it's still Giannis Giannis. This thing is absolutely atrocious. Terrible art. Jason Todd, Peacekeeper Red. Enough said. Green Lantern number 11. Well, we still got old JoJo in there. There we go. There's Teen Lantern. That's actually a pretty cool construct. I'm not going to lie. Not even the combined power of the ex-Green Lanterns Joe and the United Planets could stop the Anti-Guardian. Will John Stewart arrive in time to defeat the threat, or do his new powers even stand a chance? The battle for the fate of the Green Lantern Corps and the entire universe hangs in the balance in the penultimate issue of The Last Lantern's arc. This thing started out great. I checked out. Harley Quinn number 12. That is an atrocious cover. My goodness. Yes, it's a Riley Rossmo cover. That's why I wouldn't get within 5 feet of this comic book. And I've been told it's worse than the art, the writing is. So that's Stephanie Phelps for you. Harley Quinn, the animated series, Eat, Bang, Kill Tour. This is old T. Franklin. And this is the end of the road. Lots of miniseries ending here. They must be doing something in March, huh? Something big to have this many series ending right then. That'll be interesting. The Human Target, book 5. Now, that is a really good comic book cover for like an old school genre book. This actually looks really good. Why does Tom King get the best artist? I don't know, but Greg Smallwood's killed it on that cover. Christopher Chance, a.k.a. the Human Target, will be dead in a few days, but nothing will stop him from solving his own murder. His investigation into the JLI intensifies as he sets his sights on the Martian Manhunter. Okay. This is definitely one of the worst comic covers I've ever seen, Justice League 73. This is the only one that they show. Obviously, there's going to be a Kyle Holtz variant, but this is the Anik Pocket main cover. They're going to expect you to pay for this cover, and obviously there's going to be some trade dress up here. Pathetic. But it is Brian Michael Bendis comic, so it probably deserves it. Justice League Incarnate. I'm surprised they're still soliciting these. I thought these were delayed. Maybe it'll be caught up by this point. This issue, a hero dies. Oh my goodness. Dr. Multiverse discovers there's a threat greater than Darkseid. Of course there's a threat greater than Darkseid. It's the Justice League Incarnate's only option to work with the Lord of Apocalypse. I don't ever believe in those kind of things. Like, we have no option but to work with the most evil person in the world. Are you heroes or are you not? Get your heads out of your asses. Justice League for the Legion of Superheroes. Another terrible comic book cover. Bendis and Scott Glusky, the Gold Lantern Saga. Everything's a saga nowadays. Nightwing 89. This will be when this guy here will tell us how great this guy is and how much better he is than his father. Nubia and the Amazons. So we got Medusa. Stephanie Williams, Vita Ayala. Let's see, is Bia in here? The monster behind Doom's doorway is revealed. Medusa is back and wants the Amazons to pay for the years of imprisonment she suffered in Tartarus. Now our queen must fight to her to secure a future for her sisters. Will she deliver the killing blow or show mercy to a woman scorned by man's world? Oh my goodness. So now Medusa is an anti-hero. Get the fuck out of here. But no, they're not talking about Bia. I thought she was supposed to be a big deal. 1-star Squadron. That is a terrible cover for a terrible writer, Mark Russell. Pennyworth number 7. I am not reading this. I read the first issue and that was enough. But we are getting KG Beast. Oh, that's not bad. Refrigerator full of heads. I didn't like Basket full of heads, unfortunately. So I'm sticking off with this one. This is it. This is my lead pipe lock of the month. Lock it up. Robin number 11. This is essentially the comic book that we wanted coming out of Robin. Obviously, the Lazarus tournament is over, and we are getting a team-up book with Robin, with Ravager, with Connor Hawk, and all those characters in Flatline, who I'm going to be honest, I think Flatline has a lot more potential as a future big-time character in DC Comics than Punchline. There, I put it out there. So this is it. I can't believe they're actually doing what people wanted. Williamson, Gleb Melnikoff's been kicking ass. They survived the League of Lazarus. Damien, Flatline, Ravager, and Connor Hawk celebrate with the rest of the fighters, but their party quickly turns into another deadly fight. But cool. If this is what the book is, at least for like the next year, maybe half a year, is those 4 characters together, I think it's cool, and I'm down for that. I do think it's weird that Damien and Connor, one of them should be dead. Robin's number 4. You couldn't pay me to read this trash. Tim Seeley is getting worse every single month with what he's doing. That issue 1 was a fucking joke, and the art by Baltimore Rivas was almost as bad. It was just fucking terrible. Get your shit together, Tim Seeley, or you're not going to be the Mendoza line for comic books anymore. They're going to jettison your ass. That sucked. Scooby-Doo. I read it with my kids. Suicide Squad 12. There's too much Suicide Squad out there. I've heard this one by Robbie Thompson's pretty good, but I have not been on it. Rick Flag Attacks. But they are really trying to make old Peacemaker a big deal. I cannot wait for the TV show, to be honest. Suicide Squad, King Shark. Tim Seeley is a skipperoonie nowadays. Not even worth the time. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This is the final issue. So this is when they're finally facing the bad guy. And Supergirl isn't there. And what's her name? Ruthie is going to try to take on the bad guy herself and going to be unsuccessful and maybe will likely lose an arm in the process or whatever other plot points that Tom King is going to steal directly from True Grit. What a ripoff. Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 8. JLQ in the house. Tom Taylor, Cian Torby. Henry Bendix's plan for ultimate control threatens every superhero on Earth. Well, I bet it does. Swamp Thing, Green Hell. This is probably going to be good, but I don't really support. That's the problem. I don't like Jeff Lemire, but I love Dub Bank. What am I going to do? Task Force Z. I did not like the first issue. Matthew Rosenberg sucks. Eddie Barrows is great with Eber Frey, especially. No, I'm not reading that one. Teen Titans Academy 12. Wow. Are we finally going to learn the identity of Red X? We've only been talking about it for a year now. Tim Sheridan is on my never buy list because he's terrible. Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries. My son and I are loving this one together. Who else? We got Flash 779. This has been really good. Obviously, we got a lot of the Flash family in here. Fernando Passerin has been especially good as the artist with Jeremy Adams. This is one of those underrated real gems out there that you should be reading. Unexpected heroes arrive to help the Flash in the final confrontation with Eclipso. Can Wally West move fast enough to save the universe? Find out in part 3 of Eclipso War. Yeah, you should definitely read it. Joker number 12, the $6 ongoing series. It's absolutely ridiculous. This time we got Giuseppe Camuncoli on art, so we're not even whatever, man. This backup story by Sam Johns has been terrible. This thing had so much potential. It's just I'm going to keep reading it, I guess. Joker presents a puzzle box. This is much better than it had any right to be because it is Matthew Rosenberg, but it's actually pretty good. Titans United, number 6. Looks like we got Sapphire. Is that Blackfire? Yes, Blackfire victorious. Earth has fallen to the queen of the Tamaranians, and the Titans completely at her mercy, all except one. And there we go. We've seen these guys fight before, and Starfire normally whoops her ass when they are on an even playing field as far as powers go. So we shall see. Wonder Woman 784. Get some better writers on there, and I will consider reading it. Wonder Woman Evolution. Tomorrow, Doc and I are going to talk about this. I made him read a comic book that was terrible. At Wonder Woman Evolution #1 from Stephanie Phillips and artist Mike Hawthorne. This is the worst Mike Hawthorne art I've ever seen. You're not going to believe it tomorrow. This thing is terrible. Do not read this comic. It is worse than you can imagine. World of Krypton #3. My favorite writer, Robert Venditti, Michael Avon Oeming. As evidence of Krypton's environmental precarity mounts, the ruling council fights even harder to hide behind the myth of utopia, but a refusal to confront the problems is a refusal to attempt a solution. Zod is determined to force their hands and turn his old friend Jor-El for backup, but their methods may be too dissimilar. That's the classic story, can they coexist kind of thing. Not the most exciting solicitation, but it is Robert Venditti. It's guaranteed to be good. Those are your DC comic solicitations. There are very, very, very few comic books I'm excited in there for. Obviously, World of Krypton, Robin #11. Shit, it's a barren. There ain't much to read. Let me put it that way. Oh, if you can stomach supporting Tom Taylor, definitely Dark Knights of Steel. That's another good one. But there ain't much to read right now. Oh, Flash. Flash is the other one. God, DC's in a bad spot.